Hi, I'm Barbie, but she calls me Malibu.
And I'm Barbie, but she calls me Brooklyn.
Like us, so many of you have big dreams,
Problems to solve,
fears to conquer,
and cool stuff you want to learn.
We're here to listen and connect you with remarkable people from all over the world who are experts in their fields.
They've chased their dreams, shattered glass ceilings, and made history.
And they didn't do it alone.
Nope. They asked for help when they needed it, and now they're here to help you. Right here on
The Barbie Podcast.
What's your name, kid?
Kid? You seem like a kid yourself.
Kids can be detectives, too. Name?
Lavender Terrycloth. Yours?
Detective Michaela Davenport. But I'll be asking the questions here. So, Lavender, if that is your name, where were you on the night of Saturday, September the 5th?
At my granny's house, where I am every Saturday night.
I see. And what do you know about the ruby diamond victory necklace that belongs to your boss, Mrs. Van Hamburger?
I know it's her favorite necklace.
If you know it's her favorite, then why did you steal it?
How'd we do, Dream Team?
We were going over our lines because we've got our first rehearsal today for the case of the missing necklace.
It's a Roberts and Roberts original.
Yeah, we co-wrote it. I played the detective. Malibu will play Lavender, and our friends are going to play all the other roles.
Yeah, we're going to put the whole thing up right here in my backyard. My mom and dad helped us build a makeshift stage this morning.
And we built this ramp leading up to it so that all the performers can get up there easily.
Our guest joining us today sparked this idea to bring the theater to our house. But before we get to that, let's read
the Dream Teamer question.
I've got it right here in my phone. Dear Barbie and Barbie, my town's community theater is putting on a musical. I auditioned, but I didn't get in. Aw. I've never done theater before, but I love going to see it and listening to show tunes in the car with my dad. Same. I just know I'm supposed to be on stage. I'm feeling pretty bummed about it. Oh, what do you think I should do? Love, star without a stage.
Oh, we've both been there, haven't we, Malibu?
Oh, we sure have. Not getting a part in a play can be crushing, especially when you put yourself out there for an audition.
And we both love theater just as much as you do. The rehearsals, the costumes, the lights, the beautiful sets.
Brooklyn and I don't think your theater journey needs to end here. We think you can still perform even without the community theater.
Don't just take our word for it. We know just the person you need to hear from. Her name is Ali Stroker, and she is an actress, a singer, a dancer, a mom, and an author.
She was the first actor who uses a wheelchair to ever appear on Broadway and to win America's highest honor in theater, a Tony Award.
She's going to join us in just a minute. She'll help Star Without a Stage with their question and give us some tips on our play.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe Ali Stroker is going to help us with our play. I'm fangirling a little bit. Are you fangirling a little bit?
Yeah, of course I am. It's Ali Stroker. Girl, I loved her on Glee.
Yeah, we'll be right back, Dream Team.
And we're back with our special guest, Ali Stroker.
Welcome to the Barbie Podcast, Ali.
Thank you so much for having me, Barbie and Barbie.
So, you've read the question from Star Without a Stage. What are your thoughts?
I can relate. Not getting cast or not being included in something you want to do can really sting. There have been plenty of times when I didn't book a role I wanted. Actors and performers have to deal with that a lot.
Yep, we've experienced that too. How do you deal with the rejection?
I have this mantra, which I like to call finding the gift. In every situation, there's a gift waiting for you. It's not always obvious, but it's there. Situations like not getting cast in a play can feel really challenging, but there's always a way to flip the script.
How do you mean?
Just because Star Without a Stage didn't make it into one play doesn't mean they can't perform. You don't need permission from anyone else to use your imagination or create art. Maybe you can audition for another show or sign up for an acting class.
Or put on a play in your own house like we are.
Yes, just like I did when I was a kid.
That's how we got the idea to do this production in the first place. We read about that and thought it sounded so fun. Would you mind sharing your story with everyone else?
Not at all. Growing up, my family had a house down on the Jersey Shore. One summer when I was 7, one of the girls who lived next door came over and made the announcement, "I'm going to direct a production of Annie, and it's going up in our backyard at the end of the summer."
I love Annie.
Me too. It's a classic. She cast our golden retriever as Sandy, her little sister as Molly, my dad as Miss Hannigan, and me as Annie.
Had you ever been on stage before?
I hadn't. That was my first time.
What was it like for you?
It was life-changing. I use a wheelchair. Before Annie, I felt like the world looked at me and felt bad for me. Then I had this experience of being on stage. I was fearless. Performing made me feel so alive and free. I'd sing, and I felt like I was flying. People were looking at me because they were listening to the story I was telling. They admired my singing, acting, and dancing. That was the kind of attention I wanted. It felt so empowering. I fell in love with theater, and I found my purpose.
Allie, that's so beautiful. It's incredible what theater can do for someone.
Seriously. It sounds like Star Without a Stage feels like theater is their purpose too. But now they don't have anywhere to perform. Have you ever been in a situation like theirs?
Oh, so many times. When I first graduated from New York University, I had a hard time even getting an audition. I often wasn't even invited into the room or given a chance.
Which is wild because you are such a powerhouse on stage. They didn't even know what they were missing.
Thank you for saying that. But yeah, it was really frustrating. I felt so lost.
So, what'd you do about it?
I decided to flip the script. I began practicing and singing because I loved it, even when I wasn't being cast. I also decided to move out here to Los Angeles, and eventually I got cast in a revival production of the musical Spring Awakening.
Oh, I love Spring Awakening. I've always wanted to be in that show, so tell us everything.
It was with a company called Deaf West, and half of the actors in the cast were deaf, while the other half were hearing. The deaf actors played the lead roles and performed using American Sign Language, while their counterparts, like me, spoke the lines and sang.
Whoa, what a cool way to put on a show that gives deaf and hearing people the full experience together. Making sure performances are accessible is so important.
It is. We did 2 productions of it in LA, and then one day, out of the blue, I got the call that the show was moving to Broadway in New York.
Your Broadway debut! Who knew you needed to move to California to make it to Broadway?
Right?
And then you were in another Broadway show.
That's right. I was in a revival of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma. I played the character Ado Annie.
I loved what you did with Ado Annie. I've seen Oklahoma a few times, and usually Ado Annie is just the comic relief character. But you made her more than just funny. She was powerful and smart.
Yeah, I wanted to make her more real. Someone who is caring, curious, and has a thirst for life.
Well, you totally nailed it, Allie. And you won the Tony for it. In your acceptance speech, you dedicated the award to every kid who has a disability who has been waiting to see themselves represented in theater. Wow. Why was that so important to you?
Well, when I was growing up, I'd go to Broadway shows, watch movies and TV, and I never saw anyone who uses a wheelchair in starring roles. People with disabilities were usually excluded and rarely represented at all. I couldn't point to anyone and say, "They're like me." My community deserves to have role models that are in the media. When I won that award, I thought of little Allie, who thought a Tony Award was only just a dream. I thought of the little kids watching me. I wanted them to see that it's possible.
And you've taken that mission beyond the stage. You've been on TV and in movies. Oh, and you've written kids' books like Allie and the Sea Stars, Cut Loose, and The Chance to Fly, all featuring girls who use wheelchairs and love to perform.
We read The Chance to Fly last week and loved it.
Oh my gosh, so good. I love that the main character, Nat, is a total musical theater nerd just like we are.
And just like Star Without a Stage is.
Musical theater nerds unite!
Present!
Allie, would you be up for watching one of our scenes and giving us your feedback or ideas?
Absolutely, I would love to.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. Okay, Brooklyn, here's your script.
Thank you.
And here's mine.
Okay. So first, the audience will hear a big crash. What was that sound?
I don't know, but it sounds like it came from outside. Let's look out the window. Now we cross downstage to look out the window.
Crossing. I can see someone or something.
And they've got something sparkly.
The necklace.
Quick, we have to catch them.
But they're moving so fast.
Lucky for us, I've got a zip line leading out this window down to the street. Let's go. Brooklyn, how exactly are we gonna ride a zip line out the window without an actual zip line?
Yeah.
Allie, any thoughts?
Well, first, excellent acting.
Thank you.
Now is the time to get creative and imagine what's possible. For instance, when I first started dancing, all the dance classes focused on using your feet and legs, something I couldn't do. We'd spend hours at the ballet bar doing tendus.
Dream Team? That's a ballet move where you sweep your foot along the floor and point your toes.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to do a tendu?
What'd you do?
I started using my hands instead. I'd mimic the tendu with the tips of my fingers instead of with the tips of my toes.
That's brilliant.
I was raised to not pay attention to the things I couldn't do, but instead to the things that I could. We all have different abilities. Figure out what your skill set is and focus on that. A zip line on stage. That's hard to do. But you're both creative, just like I am. Is there any other way to convey the zip line to the audience?
Maybe we can use our dancing skills and glide across the stage to make it look like we're in a zip line, like a dance sequence.
That's a great idea. What other ideas can you think of?
Shadow puppets. I saw it in another show once. We could make little paper cutouts of the characters and create a shadow puppet effect on the backdrop to make it look like we're the ones on the zipline.
Awesome idea, Malibu. We can use some sheets as the backdrop.
I love both your ideas, Barbie and Barbie.
We love your ideas, Allie. You've completely changed the way I think about performing.
Same. Thank you so much for helping us, the Dream Team, and Star Without a Stage.
Thank you for having me.
Dream Team, remember, if you get stuck, flip the script and get creative.
And if you're a star without a stage, make your own stage. There's always another way to chase your dream.
We'll catch you next time on
The Barbie Podcast.